So today is Friday, January 11th, 2019, and I guess so where do I even start? I have been married for 2.5 years to my husband, and let me see. Prior to getting married, he and I dated for 7 years. Yeah, I know. That's another video. Anyway, we've been trying to get pregnant, and it has not been easy. I haven't necessarily completely bought into the whole advanced maternal age, um, you know, that stuff that they put out there, and I haven't necessarily given up, of course. But I am at the point now where I am realizing there's something to this. I mean, I'm not old, but I'll be 39 this year, and I'm being met with quite difficulty in trying to get pregnant. So I think what I may include in some of my videos here is a little bit of my journey in trying to get pregnant. One, because as I go through this process, I'm grateful for those who are sharing their stories. We, of course, unless you've been living, hibernating somewhere, you've heard of Gabrielle Union and her story. I have Michelle Obama's book where she touches on in vitro fertilization and being able to, conceive in that fashion. So for me, right now I'm in the, I guess, diagnosis stage or prevent, I don't even know. Right now I'm in the kind of poked and prodded stage. So I'm getting a battery of tests and things like that done. I can tell you that I have been trying, or we have been trying, for 8 months now. Not quite a year. Now don't get me wrong. Some people go 8 months. I've been trying for 3 years or 5 years. If you've been trying, I don't care if you've been trying for multiple years or a couple of months. If you've been trying, guess what? We all feel the same way. So I don't, of course, want to people to feel like, I think it's kind of disingenuous when people say, oh, like, psh, 8 months? Look, my experience should not be discounted or discredited. I get it. But at the end of the day, when we look and we see that negative pregnancy test, we all feeling the same way. I will speak for myself when I say I have felt rejection, defective, sometimes dejected. I have not felt depressed, and I don't want to say yet, but I haven't had feelings of depression. For the most part, it has been rejection. And I don't know how much I can stand to put my spirit and my psyche through rejection. So, even now as I go through some of my examinations and my tests, the great thing is that I'm learning that there really right now is nothing hindering me. Like, I've had what's called an HSG today, as a matter of fact. My doctor told me everything looks beautiful. Those were her words. That was so encouraging. And the other thing she did, which I just felt such a burden lifted, she spoke to me very calmly, and she would use words of faith, such as during the exam, she said, would you like to take a look at the monitor to see what I'm seeing? And then I would look, because my head was turned away, because again, I've just been feeling dejected. I'm ready for a letdown, or, rejection. I'm ready for a letdown. So I turn and face the monitor, and she explains to me what I'm looking at. And she said, this is where your baby's going to be. And I could have just burst out into tears because, I mean, for her to speak that life into literally into my womb at the moment, was profound and kind of just overpowered me emotionally. But at any rate, had the HSG today, thumbs up. I'm so happy. I had a good HSG. The one thing I will tell anyone who's trying to get pregnant, again, I'm 30, I'll be 39 in a few months. If I had known, if I had, and that, I mean, my husband and I talked about, do we want kids? And then it was like, yeah, we want kids. I would have done this, and I did want to wait a few years, to enjoy my marriage before I had kids, but I would have started looking into fertility, 6 months after I got married, because you really have no idea just the impeccable, if not divine, timing that has to occur to conceive. I mean, it is truly amazing. The more I read about it, it is truly amazing and a blessing. Each and every child is. So I have to say that. At any rate, going back, the other tests that I've had, gosh, what were they? I had it a couple weeks ago. Oh, I had an anti-Malarian hormone blood test, which, from my understanding, is supposed to let me know if I even have eggs. So I'm waiting to get the results from that. So of course, while I'm waiting to get some of this information, and oh yeah, I've had a pelvic ultrasound too to see if I have any fibroids, which, if as a black woman, it seems as though it's inevitable. So yes, I do have fibroids. According to my OBGYN, my fibroids are very, very small. So small that, according to him, he is in no way concerned about my ability to conceive because of their size. The other thing, I think I just jumped around, but let me try to get back on track. So that's sort of what I've gone through already in the last, I think, 7 to 8 months now, trying to conceive. And let me tell you what I'm doing outside of the medical doctor's office. I am doing ovulation predictor kits where you pee on the pH strip. I'm doing my basal body temperature. I also have apps, of course, where I'm logging my periods, and that's the only thing I can think of at present. But at any rate, the other encouraging thing that the doctor told me today when I had my HSG done, she herself has had it done, and she said 3 months later she got pregnant. I spoke to a close friend of mine about it, who had another girlfriend who had it done, and she got pregnant 2 months after the procedure. So the one thing I will tell you is that I'm like, okay, this seems to have a success rate, even though the test is meant to go in and really get a feel for your anatomy, and if there are any blockages, like in your fallopian tubes, is there anything structurally hindering your uterus from the egg being able to implant, like such as endometriosis or anything like that. It's supposed to reveal that. So in doing so, what they do is they first insert a speculum, like they do when you go get a pap smear, and then they insert a catheter. I was not a fan of the catheter. The speculum I'm used to. The catheter, none of it hurt. Let me just say this, none of it hurt. What I did learn in the procedure is that my cervix is pushed back. That's what I was told. It's pushed back. So even though I'm kind of propped up on this pillow, I'm feeling something that's like back and down, and I'm like, this can't be over soon enough. And it did not last very long, but it was discomfort. As soon as they insert the catheter, you feel a little cramping. When they begin to inject the dye, which has some iodine in it, you feel more cramping as it fills your uterus, And then, of course, you can look on the monitor and kind of see how it's flowing and that sort of thing. The technicians were fabulous, such great bedside manner. I mean, courteous, very informative, soft-spoken. I tensed up because, like I said, that catheter, I was like, wait. And I just had to breathe. But I got through it. I mean, the whole thing didn't even last. My entire visit didn't even last. Like, it was maybe 30 minutes. The actual procedure from the time I laid down to when I got up was like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So not very long at all. I did have to at some point, sort of turn a little to my right, then turn a little to my left to make sure that the dye would fill both right and left fallopian tubes sufficiently. So, I mean, that was really about it. Afterwards, yes, you have cramps. I've had worse cramps, but yes, you do have cramps. But it's a different kind of cramping. It's like something is in your pelvis. Like, I can't even, it's not low. Like, normally when I have cramps, it's like, well, not low. It's like not my stomach, but it was like in my pelvis. Like, whoa. That was about it. Came home, took a nap, slept it off. Oh, popped some Advil, and woke up. I feel a lot better. So at any rate, that's where I am, y'all. And hopefully I'll, get pregnant sooner than later. I've started to look into things like adoption. But can I just tell you, adoption, it's like 20 grand. If I got 20 grand, I'm gonna keep those comments to myself. But you know where I'm going with this. Like 20 grand. I'm not there yet. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on keeping on with with this path, this faith walk that I have right now. I'll let y'all know. It's all good. Hang in there. For anybody who's discouraged, trust me, it's easier said than done. I'm saying it, but I would say the things that help me the most: yoga. Like I said, I've had to go back to the Bible a few times, brush up on my stories of Sarah and Hannah, but at any rate, I can't tell you how much yoga grounds me throughout this. But whatever it is for you, like find that something that gives you an inkling of inner peace, and go with that and meditate on that and focus on that, because I'm sure there are days where my husband is like, she's not talking, and it's not directed towards him. I have so many things on my mind, or there are so many emotions happening at the same time as it relates to this, that I'm here, but I'm not here. So, I'm coming around. And yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick. Find that something, whatever that inner peace is for you. It's important, because you will lose your mind. I can definitely see how somebody would lose their mind going through this, especially if it's something that you desire so very much. I've had periods where I'm watching TV and a baby commercial comes on and I just start crying. Like, seriously? Now, I was also PMSing, but that's how strong sometimes you just, yeah. But we're going to get through this. All right, y'all. I'm gone because my stomach is growling. Bye.